All right, everybody, welcome to the Cult Fiction New Year's 2023-2024 episode. My hope is that we're going to have some fights today because we're going to be picking our favorites for the year, and I know that we've got some really some stuff that's going to clash. So let's dig straight into it. First, we're gonna talk about our 4 picks for the year for our favorite fiction, and then we're going to do an over/under on whatever we think was overrated or underrated for the year. I would like to start with Alex because I am really interested to hear what he has picked for this year.
So for me, for my mount, as far as the 4 things this year that I thought were, superb and probably my most favorite things that I enjoyed this year. Number one, Fall of the House of Usher on Netflix, which I thought was a fantastic series.
Solid,
Basically,
solid pick.
very. It's hard to say it's an adaptation of many different sort of stories from Edgar Allan Poe, and they're all sort of woven together into a single narrative. And if you've read Poe and you've read the stories, it really hits on a different level because it's just fascinating on how well all these narratives are connected into one cohesive story. And it's really fascinating. I've been a fan of Mike Flanagan, the writer and director, for a long time. He produced some great stuff on Netflix. I think what was it? Midnight Mass was the last thing I think he did
Dude,
on
Midnight
Netflix.
Mass was super good. That was a
Midnight
great
Mass,
series.
yeah. And but I didn't quite know what to expect when I started watching it. But I mean, I would say probably within 5-10 minutes I was hooked, and I was like, I'm gonna watch an episode. 4 episodes later, I'm like, okay, I'll finish the rest tomorrow. And everything is spot on, the writing and the characters and the performance, and it's just a really, really fascinating piece of work. Number two is probably going to be on more than just my mouth, but it's Blue Eye Samurai. We talked about that one recently. It's on Netflix, and that was the sort of American anime samurai cartoon. And, that was another one that I really, really enjoyed for so many reasons, not the least of which is that it had what I thought were incredibly compelling, interesting female characters, which I don't think you see a lot in fiction anymore. They tend to just be kind of superheroes. And I really enjoyed the characters in that one. They were all very strong, and their arcs were super interesting, and the whole series as a whole had great action, superb animation, and I think it had probably one or two of those episodes. We talked about it on the recent podcast with the I forget the name of the episode, but the one with the geisha and the demon or whatever it was, the play. And
The Ronin and the Bride. I think it was the
yeah,
Ronin and the
something like
Bride.
that.
Yeah.
Was probably one of my favorite episodes of anything throughout the year. But another episode was when she was climbing the tower, and sort of like this sort of mix of samurai and the Bruce Lee Game of Death. And so honestly, it just knocked it out of the park. Number three is, if you're a gamer, it's probably going to be on anybody's list. It's Baldur's Gate 3. And, so much has been said about it. There's not a whole lot that I can really add to it. It's just a matter of, I mean, if this is something you want to put time into, it can literally keep you busy for hundreds of hours, if not thousands. And it's just remarkable how complex the game is and how you can approach so many different situations in so many different ways, and you don't even realize it until you start doing it. And like I said, there's nothing I can say that hasn't already been said, but it's a spectacular game, and probably the best game, not just of this year, but it's going to be an all-time classic. Let's see. Last but not least, I had a couple of things on here, but I eventually wound up with Spider-Man Across the Multiverse, simply because it's part one of two, so I'm not sure how good the second, if it's going to be aimed on like an even higher note. But going into sequels and everything, you never quite know what to expect. But I thought the creative team did a great job of expanding on what they did in the first movie and improving on it and making a story that is just as compelling. And I can't wait to see part two. So as far as over and underrated,
Well, let's come back to, we'll do the over and underrated after we get through everybody's mount. Eric, do you want to go next? You want to do your top 4 for the year?
Sure. I chose the Super Mario Brothers movie. I enjoyed it. It was nice. My kids enjoyed it. It was fun to go see a movie with the kids, and I thought they did a good job with it. It was nice that it made a ton of money. I hope that they do more stuff with it. I know that my daughter was singing the Peach song for a month afterwards. So, some of the first game I remember really playing, aside from like Atari, Pong and stuff, was Super Mario Brothers. So I'm glad that they enjoyed it, and I'm glad they made a good one. Frasier, the reboot, like,
Okay.
It's that good, huh? It's
Travis
really.
Steen.
Really?
I like it because it's just funny. Almost nothing made by a network right now is not inundating me with bullshit. It's not inundating me with bullshit. Like, I can just watch it and enjoy it.
So it's not preachy or scoldy or anything like that.
It's not scoldy. It's just, it's like, because I watch the reboot of Night Court. I think, Jewel, we were talking about that. I like that too, because John Larroquette
also known as the John Larroquette Show, right?
Yeah, John is fucking amazing. Like, he is just single-handedly pulling that show along,
Where is the reboot of Night Court?
Where is it? I want to.
I think it's a network show, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's on network television. It's on.
I'll look it up. I'll just look it up. It's cool.
Oh, but John Larroquette is amazing, right? But just to show you how completely detached Hollywood is from like reality, just 180 from reality. The premise of the show is that the judge, which is the daughter of Harry Stone, the original judge, she's there in a New York night court to to be the empathetic voice, because New York DAs are overcharging and sending too many people to jail.
Wow.
What? Literally.
It's interesting. Wow.
What? The opposite of the real world, right? So that's what I'm talking about. It's like I can't even watch a half an hour episode of something without your deranged
Okay. So
being interwoven into a show.
Let's stay on topic. So you got Frasier. Frasier doesn't do any of that. Frasier doesn't do any of that, is what you're saying.
Frasier doesn't do it. Frasier just goes, hey, I have this relationship with my son, and here's Nigel's son, and I work at this job, and hilarity ensues. Wow, isn't that great? Isn't that just nice? When you can just fucking have fun, whatever. So it makes my list just off of that, Anyway, same thing with Reacher. Reacher season 2, it doesn't even have to be as good as season 1.
Is that on your list?
Yeah. Reacher season 2 has made it on my list because that's how bad 2023 is. Because 20 is ass. Because this isn't 10 years ago when you could have watched, like, you turn the channel, you're like, oh, here's Game of Thrones. Oh, here's Mad Men. Oh, here's like the first couple seasons of Walking Dead. Oh, here's fucking Breaking Bad. No, that's not what we have anymore. We have fucking, dog shit, extra dog shit, It's just fascinating. So what I liked about Reacher, and I think I mentioned this to Alex, was in the first 20 minutes, he's with his female friend from the first season, and she figures out a clue, and they go to their hotel room, and they're playing a game, and they imply that she wins the games most often. Great. Isn't that amazing how she can do that, and he's still badass? He's not like less badass? Isn't that great?
They can both be strong, is what you're saying.
They can both be strong. Isn't that
Right.
crazy? How she can make a great fucking discovery in their fucking investigation and beat him at some games sometimes, and yet I think no less of him, that he's still a badass motherfucker. Because like Alex has said before, this is a character who is like kind of almost to a silly degree good at everything. I mean, he beats everybody's ass. He's super smart. He knows all this kind of stuff. And yet people in his fucking world can still do good things, and he can still be badass. And it's like, take the lesson. Like, you can do this with girl bosses too. Girl bosses can fucking be girl bosses and still like get help. And other people don't have to be like dim-witted around them. They can still like discover things and do good things and stuff like that. My fourth thing is really difficult because am I just old?
Yes. Yes, you are.
You could always do Night Court.
Like an old pessimistic dick. I guess
You're quickly
like-
approaching get off my lawn stage.
yeah.
It's true.
I really am. Yeah, I am. I'm gonna just go because I'm gonna save one for my underrated. I'm gonna go with just Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I enjoyed
Which
it.
was great. Yeah, it was great. That was
Yeah,
really good.
it was
Yeah,
really
yeah.
good flick.
That was very enjoyable.
I thought it was, probably some of the best stuff Marvel has done since Endgame. I didn't like too much what they did with Adam Warlock, but other than that,
Yeah.
I thought it was fun. It was pulled at the heartstrings. It was just a good flick. It was a fun time. So,
Thoroughly enjoyable. I agree. And Warlock, you never know. I mean, they could always do something
Yeah.
different with him. He can redeem himself.
Yeah. and I kept going for the idea that he was like infantile, like he was basically a toddler.
Mhm.
He was physically developed, but mentally he was still kind of a toddler. So I guess I'll let it pass. I mean,
We'll see.
then-
We'll see what they do with him, if anything.
In,
Yeah.
In true Marvel tradition, it also had a fantastic hallway fight.
It did.
Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
It did have a good hallway fight. Hallway fights are always welcome. I really
Yeah.
enjoy those. Yeah, since
I welcome them.
since Daredevil, hallway fights have become a thing. Gus, what does your list look like?
All right. So I might have watched 10 movies this year. Probably. I'm inflating the numbers. If we're over five, I'm wowed.
So what for the best?
No, I had to do my own thing. All right. Sorry. So first off, I went with the best book I read this year. And it's called How to Keep House While Drowning. And it's totally amazing. Like, I almost didn't read it. A friend of mine had recommended it to me. I pulled off an excerpt off of Amazon, and it felt a little gynocentric. It felt a little New York Times. And I was like, I don't know. But the reviews were so high. I got this new rule. If your reviews are over 6,000 and you got a 4.5, I'll read it. That's the new rule.
Fair enough.
Because I know it's going to be good. It's going to be good or good enough. So this book's super rad. Like, on the face value, it's a book about cleaning your house. And like, I'm a domestic duke, so I'll read it. But like, it's so much more interesting than that. This woman has like super bad, she's pregnant. She had super bad postpartum depression. She has a whole bunch of other issues. Her old man is like a traveling salesman. She's scheduled to have a baby. She has this whole plan done. COVID hits. So she has to like reinvent everything. And it's really cool. And the way, so there's that part, which interesting stuff. I've read about 8 or 10 books on like cleaning your houses and organizing. This one's totally different, but it's a different kind of book than I've ever read before. Like, first chapter, like the chapter will say like, if you cannot read the whole chapter, this is what you need to know. Or read this section if you're not, or skip this section if you're not interested. Really interesting. And the coolest thing that I thought about the book was she says things like, you're not a bad person if you don't recycle. Which is
Pretty edgy. Wow.
like, no, for her target market, it's really edgy.
It is.
And
Fuck
because
that.
I've gone to people's houses.
I'm hanging on to that as the way I'm a good person. So, fuck
What's that?
But does it make you?
I
I don't think she said it makes you a good person if you don't recycle. What she
Right.
said was, if you don't recycle, does it make you a bad person?
No, matter of fact, she said, if you don't recycle, it doesn't make you a bad person.
Right.
And not recycling won't make any difference. Like, which for her market is epic. She also says things like, don't feel guilty if you can't be vegan. Stop judging yourself. Like,
oh yeah, I'm cool.
San
no,
Francisco is in an uproar.
Well,
I have a hot woman in my basement.
That sounds
No,
like it. Is it so? How is it presented? Is it like a nonfiction book or is it a fiction book?
No,
Is
it's
she telling a story or is she giving you
no,
instructions?
it's nonfiction. It's a nonfiction book.
Huh.
It's and I recommend everybody reading it. Honestly, it's super cool and it's an easy read.
All right. What else you got?
Okay, I got Blue Eyed Samurai.
Yep.
We talked about it a bunch. What I want to talk about on it super quick is that, like, we're going through this new thing or whatever with female characters, right? It seems like there's a new thing, female, and they don't get it right. We talked about it in the other one. What I hope for this is, like, I hope that it becomes kind of like a blueprint. Right? Like they're great. Like, if they just follow, if Hollywood that be just follows the Blue Eyed Samurai model and the Game of Thrones model, I think we'll be all right. Just like when in doubt, say, would this fly in Blue Eyed Samurai? If it doesn't, garbage cannon. Right?
I think it's probably harder to make like great television than, you know, I don't know if anybody chooses to make bad television. It's just that they do, right? But I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
Next thing.
believe that too, but I think they do choose sometimes.
Oh, I think they do.
I don't know. I mean, Yui Bowl was pretty convinced that everything he made was perfect, and it all stuck fucking dog ass.
Right.
Yeah.
What else
Next
you got,
thing-
Gus? Yeah, go.
Okay. Next thing I got song of the year, or what I thought was the raddest song of the year, was Oliver Anthony's Richmond North of Richmond.
Okay.
And
Right.
I think it's rad. Like, one, I thought it was a great song. Period. I like old country. It grabbed the old country feel, but just the story behind it's rad. Like, the guy put it on YouTube, and by look this afternoon, it had like 110 million views. He went to number one. He went to number one within a week of the song dropping, and no one ever had heard of the guy.
Yeah.
And it's pretty rad.
He recorded it like in his backyard, and all of a sudden he's got hundreds of millions of views. People are offering him millions of dollars to like do this, do an album. The guy's got an amazing voice, especially for old country, like you were saying about. It's really deep and really, really resonant. And the song, yeah, I think it reflects what a lot of people are feeling. But you're right, the story behind that guy's triumph, and then his decision to not just immediately sell out and cash in all these chips for all this money, like, more power to him.
Super cool. Yeah, he turned down $8 million contract.
Wow.
I mean, it's no Pound Town,
Man.
but
Did you say it's no Pound Down?
Pound Town.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's another.
I don't know if I heard that one.
It's no WAP. It's no WAP.
No. And then, I don't know, man. I got to go with it because I felt really strongly about it. Dude, the Instapot. I got an Instapot for Christmas last year. I know.
Is that work of fiction? Is that?
It's a tool.
It's a tool.
It is the most amazing tool ever.
Tools
Like,
matter. Tools matter.
Tools definitely matter. That's how we got here.
I swear to God, you guys got Gus out of a time capsule at some point, didn't you?
Gus is actually, not a lot of people know this. Gus is an unfrozen caveman.
Dude, Gus is Encino Man.
So that's
Yeah.
that's
Hey,
where
Gus, I watched Red Dawn earlier, a brand new flick. You should watch it. It's really good.
I've heard about it.
Yeah.
It's super topical. It takes place during the Cold War.
Oh,
Yeah. There's this up and coming guy, Patrick Swayze.
Right. Hot
Here's
new
gonna do
actor.
big things.
Amazing. All right. Let's go to Bueller. Let's hear your 4, sir.
Well, it's kind of hard doing this over Zoom because I don't want to cut anybody off. But man, some of the stuff that you guys have already said, like I wanted to jump on.
Jump
the Fall
in,
of the House
man.
of Usher, the Fall of the House of Usher, dude. I will watch anything that Carla Gugino is in. Ever since she was in Sin City, dude, I've just whatever she's in, I'll watch it. Throw me
Yeah,
on it. But that was a
she's great. She's great.
Yeah.
But have you seen the show? Have you seen the series?
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, I saw the whole thing. I watched it with you guys.
I thought it was really, really good too. I thought that was a
Yeah.
choice pick.
Great pick from Alex. Gus, you picked a song. I wasn't really thinking of songs. There's a song from a band called Hardy, and the song is Jack. And it's the guy's got country influence too, and the song is dope as hell. If you get a chance to listen to it, I would recommend that one to you. And by the way, Eric, you brought up Night Court. It's on Peacock. For those of you that haven't been able to see it yet, if you have Peacock, it's on NBC also. But it's also on Peacock. I just wanted to throw that out there. As far as my list goes, Guardians of the Galaxy 3 was hands down probably my favorite movie of the year. It just it put a nice bow on the Guardians franchise, and like Eric said, it was the best thing that Marvel's done in since Endgame, basically. So it was kind of nice to see something on track like that. My favorite series this year was probably Gen V. I mean, I think I'm kind of sticking with the comic theme here, but I don't know. It was just fun to watch, man. And I was watching a scene. If you guys haven't seen it, I'm not going to spoil it for you. But I was watching a scene that was very inappropriate for virtually anyone on the planet. And so and what's that?
The pixie scene.
Yeah, with when she gets small. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was watching that.
I haven't seen it. Let me guess. She goes in his dick.
No, that's a whole different.
Okay.
That's a whole different season, bud.
It's small and hugs
it. She does climb on it. She gets small and climbs on a wiener. And I was watching that when Mixed Company walked in, and I was like, God damn it.
Why did you do that? You
That's
had
your own fault.
known.
Like, how do you explain what you're watching, dude, when somebody just walks in and sees that? It's impossible. But aside from that, I thought Gen V was dope. Dude, I can't wait to see how it crosses over into The Boys, because there was obviously cameos during Gen V. Spoiler alert. So it'll be cool to see how that crosses over. As far as books go, I read A Flicker in the Dark very recently, and I'm not a big reader by any means. Matter of fact, I've been reading Stephen King's The Stand for about 3 years now. I only read it during wrestling season, and it's 1,500 pages, so it's taken me a long time to get through. But I read A Flicker in the Dark in 2 days, and it's like 450 pages. I burned through it in 2 days. It was good, man. It was a good page turner. I got really stuck into it. I just picked up another book called Scythe. I'm reading that now, burning through that one too. But A Flicker in the Dark, I just finished the other day. Came out last year, but whatever.
What's it about?
It's kind of like a murder mystery, like whodunit type thing. I'd call it a psychological thriller, I guess. Basically, you got the main character, and there's the main character and her brother are the two main characters, but it's focused on her, and her dad got put away for several murders that happened when she was a little kid. But now the murders are happening again, and it's copycat style, and it's and so it's like a whodunit type thing. It's cool. And then I guess something else that I really liked this year was, we're not going to get the movie for a minute, but God, man, the Deadpool trolling this year was top notch. I loved all the Deadpool trolling, man. As soon as the set pictures started getting leaked, it's like the team just put out every ridiculous picture you could think of. I don't know if you guys have seen them, but
Seen a
damn it,
couple.
I've seen some
if
of them.
you
Yeah.
it's so worth looking into because they flooded the market so hard, you don't know what's going to happen in this movie anymore. Like before, it was like they talked about Ryan Reynolds wrote a script for Deadpool and Wolverine kind of cruising across Canada and doing like a buddy cop movie, which I thought was hilarious. And then the merger happened, and then there was talk about Deadpool kills the Fox universe, which it seems like that's going to happen. But at the same time, they flooded the market with so many pictures. We don't know how many cameos there are going to be in this, and we don't even know what universe they're going to cross into because we don't know what's fake and what's real. I saw a picture of Deadpool with Ronald McDonald. I saw a picture of Deadpool with Pikachu.
Brad.
Like, dude, I don't know what's going to happen in this movie. So the trolling for me was top notch and one of my favorite things to happen this year as far as like entertainment
well,
and
now-
social media goes.
Now I really want Ronald McDonald to be in it. Like, I'm going to be disappointed if somehow Ronald McDonald is not in the Deadpool movie.
Dude, I don't even know what to expect, bro. It was all bananas, but I think that's my 4 right there.
That'd be genius.
Sweet. All right. Well, then I will. Let me do mine. I'm gonna start with Mando season 3 as my first pick. I really enjoyed season 3. Grogu making his choice that he's going to be a bounty hunter and not a Jedi. I thought that was a really pivotal moment, really important moment in the story. Also, the robot suit that he was running around in was amazing. So really enjoyed season 3. Looking forward to season 4. So for a movie, I'm gonna say Oppenheimer. But here's the thing, right? I really enjoyed it. I really liked it, but it was long and dense. And so I get how a person might not like it, even though I wouldn't agree. But I thought it was. I remember I watched it and it was over, and I was like, I thought we were halfway through. I thought it had been an hour and a half, but it had been 3 hours. So it actually created like a temporal wrinkle for me in time. And the whole concept. I don't know if you guys have seen it? Are you interested in it? Do you care about it? I don't want to spoil.
I'll watch it when it comes out on streaming.
Okay, so which should be soon. I don't want to spoil anything, but Robert Downey Jr. also does an amazing job. Certainly the best thing that Cillian Murphy has ever done and probably ever will do. But Robert Downey Jr. nails it too. And then the girl that's in it, her last name is, I think it's Pugh. She played Black Widow's little sister, blood sister, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
She's dynamite. She does like a really good job too. So anyway, I really liked it, but I can understand why somebody might not like it, even though I would.
Florence Pugh.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, she said that in Wrestling with My Family. She was the wrestling chick.
Oh, that's right. That was a great flick
Yeah.
too, by the way. Wrestling with My Family was super good.
Ooh.
Okay, so anyway, people can say that they don't like Oppenheimer, but they'll be wrong. Hogwarts Legacy is my third choice.
Okay,
right?
yeah.
Hogwarts Legacy, I thought, was probably one of my top 5 favorite video games. I'm a Harry Potter nerd, whatever. I love the Harry Potter universe. And that game gave you a chance to really explore Hogwarts, which was something that you wanted to do watching the movies, right? Well, here's your chance. Now you can, right? In fact, part of the game is that you have to go through and you have to discover all this stuff in Hogwarts. And the way they put together the combat and how you defeat your enemies and the story, it was a top-notch game. But the universe really sold it for me. And then my last pick I share with Alex is going to be Baldur's Gate 3. For me, it is not just that it's an homage to the Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 games that I grew up with, but it's how they were able to take this really complex game and make it multiplayer so that you could actually have different people playing it together and it stays cogent, which makes me really excited to see what they're going to do with that in the future. They're going to release more modules, more campaigns, more things with the same engine so that you're going to have different opportunities to try different things inside that universe. It's going to be super awesome. So that's our That's our mount for everybody. Should we go back through the crowd here and do our over under, starting back with Alex?
Is that real quick? Is that Baldur's Gate? Is it on PS5 or PS4?
I don't know if it's on.
I think it's PS5. I don't think it's on
PS5 only.
PS4.
It's
Okay.
got
I
to be
think it's PS5.
PS5, yeah, because it's
I'm
pretty.
gonna. I gotta upgrade. I'm trying to come up with reasons to upgrade so I can convince
I wonder if you
Caitlin
can.
to upgrade.
Does anybody know if you can do crossplay on it? Because I know that you can. You multiplayer. I've multiplayed on PC, but if you're on PlayStation and I'm on PC, can we still
I don't
team
know.
up? That would
I
be
don't know.
fascinating if you could. We'll have to check that out. Anyway, all right, let's go back to Alex for his over under.
Okay. So my overrated is actually, I'm gonna fight with Eric about this probably, is Reacher season 2, at least so far. Yeah. It's not over
I'm
yet.
with you. I agree with Alex on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it isn't over yet, so there could be some massive improvement. But so far, I think it's like what, 4 or 5 episodes, and so
Always
far
been
it's a
great.
really big downgrade for me from season 1. And I know I've said it before, it's a junk food kind of show. It's not like I'm expecting, the height of television quality, but man, I think it really sank on this season. And the writing in particular has, to me, really fallen down. And they have all these quips that just aren't landing, and the action
Mhm.
scenes to me are just forced and generic, and there's no reason for them. It's just sort of like they need to fill time just with a random action sequence. So they have, Jack Reacher walk down a hallway and a fat guy in a bar just swings at him for no reason. And then they have an action sequence that's not exciting. And it's just sort of like, this is just,
Wow. That's a
yeah,
bummer.
it is. Like, so I'm still interested, in the story and everything, the narrative of it, but it's just him and the team, the dynamic just isn't working for me. And but mostly I think it's just the writing and the dialogue. There's an interesting plot there, and it's an interesting character, but I'm pretty disappointed so far. Halfway done, maybe there'll be some sort of resurgence.
Yeah,
As far
there's no fight. There's no fight because you're not wrong. It's not as good
No.
as the first one. They're like
mm,
the side characters in the first season, the black detective and the chick like deputy
Roscoe.
Roscoe, those 2 characters are better than anybody on his team
Yeah.
so far.
yeah,
They're just
I
better.
agree.
So it's like, there's too many cooks in the kitchen, and I don't care about any of them right now. So it's like I get it.
Right.
My whole thing, that's why I made my list, because that's how weak 2023 is. It was more of a condemnation of 2023 more than it was like, this Reacher's so fucking great. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'd even say that it's not. Yeah, no, it's bad. I was gonna say maybe it's not bad. No, it is. It is. It is.
It's funny you bring up the characters not being developed enough, and I totally agree with you. But I see something in the one character, the dude who well, I don't want to spoil anything, but the dude who pretends to be his lawyer at one point without spoiling too much.
Correct. What are you talking about?
Like I can see him being a very interesting character, just because he offsets Reacher so much, but they're falling short with him. So I understand what you guys are saying about it. I'm pulling for it, but there's only 3 episodes left. We'll see what happens.
Dude, bad writing is
Yeah,
the
there's
easiest
more
way to
development.
ruin a franchise. It's the
There
easiest
was
way.
more development in like 1 or 2 episodes in Roscoe than there has been in 3 because I've only seen 3 in 3 episodes of all of these characters combined.
Yeah.
Like I knew more about Roscoe and like why he was in that like podunk town, and like his failed marriage and all this kind of stuff, and like him not smoking anymore, and like, you know, he opens the drawer and it says don't do it, and all, like there was more development in like 2 episodes
Right.
for that one character than there's been in the first 3 episodes, all these characters combined. So
Yeah,
I'll
I think
take
I think you make a really good point about the town that they're in too, because that was such a big part of the story. This like kind of small town, and this huge, murder spree is happening. And now in this one, can't even tell you where they are half the time. They're like in New York City, and then they're like halfway across the country, but they have to go back to New York City. and it's just there's no cohesion to me. But anyway,
Yeah.
enough about how much we just said. My my underrated for this year is I'm going to go with the acting performance of Bruce Greenwood in Fall of the House of Usher. He played, Usher. He played the head of the house, and it's really interesting to me because he was actually a last minute replacement. There was some drama with the original actor, Frank Langella. I'm not really sure. There was some sort of impropriety with one of the female stars or something. I don't know. But the point is, they had already done a lot of the principal shooting for all the scenes, and then he get booted from the show, like 30% of the way through shooting, and they replace at the last minute Bruce Greenwood in the most pivotal role on the entire show. He holds everything together, and
he crushed it. He crushed it.
Yeah,
Greenwood crushed it.
He absolutely crushed it. And it's like, if you know Frank Langella, he's not one of those guys that you know by name, but if you saw him, you go, okay, I know that guy. And he's a good actor as well. But I don't see how he could have been better than Bruce Greenwood in this role. Because, like I said, every scene he's in is important. And he just crushes it. He just absolutely, and he's been one of those character actors that you kind of see here and there. He's always done well. But yeah, this was just all things considered, it's one of my favorite shows of the year, maybe even my favorite show. And that performance, every single episode was absolutely fantastic. And it's just incredibly interesting to me that he was a last minute replacement. And still, the show is so much better because of the performance he had in. So that's why I'm going to put him on underrated, because I've seen people talk about the show. I don't really see a whole lot of talk about his performance. And he should get pretty much every award possible.
Yeah, I agree, man. I think he nailed it, and he does good work. I loved him as Pike in the Star Trek remakes, so he's awesome. Eric, let's go to you.
Okay, my underrated would be Blue Beetle. Actually, thought Blue Beetle was.
I heard good things.
It was actually it was a good comic book movie.
Yeah, it was a good family movie. It was a popcorn movie.
Family. Yeah, it's not Winter Soldier. It's not like the original Iron Man. It's not gonna blow your socks off, but it's a good comic book movie. And I think it shouldn't have kind of bombed the way it did. I think I don't know if it was because people didn't know if it was the end of DCEU or if it was the start of the DCU and people didn't know what to make of it, and they didn't know whether they wanted to get invested in it if it was the end of something, or if they wanted to get invested in it because they wanted to hate on James Gunn. They were upset with what James Gunn was going to do in the future. I don't know, but it shouldn't have bombed. I would say in these times, it also probably didn't behoove them in their in their trailer to put the whole Batman is a fascist in there. That probably turned some people off because people are very heightened. There's woke shit, obviously, but the anti-woke crowd can also very much overreact to shit too. So when you watch that scene in its entirety, it makes a lot more sense.
Right. Right. Yeah. The polarization goes in two directions. That's why it's called polarization. Right.
Right. Goes in two directions.
What are you guys doing?
Yeah.
Yes.
So you have woke stuff, but then you also have the anti-woke people who, when they probably saw that, were like, oh, Batman's a fascist. Oh, I'm not gonna watch it. Okay, well, the scene is a lot more nuanced than that. That's not what was necessarily happening. And to go to what Jubal was saying about we were talking about a Dial of Destiny. I think we might have been talking about that before we got on here. You didn't know what happened with that. I think that's what happened with that. The anti-woke people saw it was a woman, and they thought, that the mantle was going to be passed over to a woman. When they were like, oh, he has a son. You're not having the son be in it. It could have been Short Round. And you're not passing it over Short Round. You're creating this brand new female character, and it's going to be passed over to her. Here we go again. And to be fair, Disney's kind of made their bed, with that. They people don't trust them, you know. But also, now that the movie's out, you can see there was an overreaction, and so
I
would-
thought Blue Beetle. I liked Blue Beetle probably more than it deserved, because the main character, and I think you and I talked about this, the main character had no qualms about showing love for his family. Like, he really loved his family, right? And George Lopez also was hilarious. So you know, I'll give it like a C+, B-. It wasn't a top shelf movie. I think probably the reason it didn't get a lot of play is because people hadn't heard of Blue Beetle before. But I still think it was fun.
Yeah, I thought it was fun. I will say Susan Sarandon was horrendous in it.
Yeah, she was bad.
Like, it was really crazy that, like, the person with the most acting experience was the worst actor in it.
I feel like she got all her lines on one day and just read them all in a soundstage.
It was bad. I started thinking, I'm like, wasn't she a good actress? And then I was like, you know, is it just that she was in Rocky Horror Picture Show, and then she was like, okay, so it was Thelma and Louise and maybe like Dead Man Walking, you know, that we thought she was a good actress.
Yes, good movie since 1993.
Right? Was it because she
Been a while.
She was with Timothy Robbins for so long, and we thought maybe good acting was like sexually transmitted? Maybe that's what it was, because she was bad, bro. She was horrendous.
Yeah,
but anyway,
she was trash.
Blue Beetle was better than what, you know, had some good stuff. Overrated, all fucking Hollywood writers. Your whole writing strike, fucking all your shit. You can fucking be I all I shit.
All writers everywhere.
Where you got fucking most of your like all your self-insert political bullshit. So many of you don't fucking even deserve jobs. It's fucking insane. Didn't miss you. I felt bad for the actors because most of them just have to like read the shit you give them. No, didn't miss them. Didn't miss them at all. Went on with my day, watched some fucking basketball, watched some football.
That's
Overrated
awesome.
Hollywood writers.
Yeah, well, it's hard to disagree. Gus, what do you got?
Okay. So I'm not going to say too much on this one because I don't know. Joe hasn't seen it, so I don't want to spoil much. But so my overrated, I got Oppenheimer.
You motherfucker.
I know. My overrated, I got Oppenheimer. I'm not saying it was a bad movie. There was even parts I really liked.
Isn't the sequel to Oppenheimer The Hills Have Eyes? Right?
No, The Hills Have Eyes is the sequel to this one. After the explosion, fuckers started getting eyes, developing eyes because of the radiation.
Oh,
Yeah.
now the joke.
Yeah.
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 Radioactivity is hilarious. Yes.
Well, because in the hills have eyes, don't they live in the area where the nuclear testing was done?
So it's a prequel.
I don't know what Hills Have
No, they live there after the nuclear testing was done.
the movie.
In the Hills Have Eyes.
I don't know anything about this thing.
You're
Yeah,
just confusing.
I've never.
God
seen
damn it, all
Hills
to
Have
hell.
Eyes. Anyway, Gus,
Y'all need to educate yourselves.
Gus, you were talking shit about how Oppenheimer is a bad movie. Please continue with how incorrect you are.
Okay. So anyway, I'm not saying it was a bad movie, but like I was super excited about seeing it. And when I left, I was like, nah, whatever. Like,
Wow.
Yeah, I know. But it was a good period piece. I like the period piece, but I just thought it was flat. I like everything else. It was just flat. I liked a couple of the characters. Whatever. Just didn't do it for me.
It was long. I get it. It was long. It was historical. I get it.
No,
we don't have to fight.
No, it wasn't even that. I just thought that and I didn't even mind that it was a biopic maybe I just don't think he's interesting.
Right.
No, maybe I just think he's boring, right? Like where I'm like, man, you know, for such this amazing dude that we've all been taught to be like, oh, whatever. Like, I mean, he's boring. I want to say some
Wow.
stuff, but I don't want to spoil it.
You wanted to see more explosions. That's
No,
what you
well, yeah, I ain't gonna lie, but like,
He wanted to see Oppenheimer by Michael Bay.
yeah, yeah, right? Like, whatever. So that's my part on there.
So when they did finally when they did explode the nuke, I'm assuming they did it in the movie. Did like fireworks also shoot out of it like in Michael Bay movies, or did they have like a legit looking explosion?
Yeah, it was a
No,
huge explosion with submarines coming out of it. It was amazing.
and a lot of lens flare.
Well, that's Abrams.
Oh yeah.
He's
Yeah.
a lens flare guy.
Yeah, he loves those lens flares. All right, what's your under, sir?
Okay, my
Could
under.
you imagine if Oppenheimer was made by Zack Snyder? It would have been a 4-hour and 17-minute movie. Because all this
So my underrated is Elon's takeover of Twitter. I know that technically happened October of last year, but he really got the ball rolling this year. I think it's super cool. I think it's amazing, honestly. And I don't think it's gotten enough I don't think it's gotten enough fanfare. Really, all I've heard was a lot of people detracting it, like in the mainstream. It's super cool.
their censorship arm has got
Right.
taken away from them.
Bro, no, yeah,
Why would
that's-
they not?
it's super rad. Like, so you have the first part about it, even to take any politics or anything culturally out of it, you got this dude who sees something that he doesn't like, and he spent a whole bunch of money on it to make it into something that you like. And it's amazing when you think about it. Like, I mean, I can't really contextualize what it is like to be a billionaire, because generally, like, I'm gigging, right? I'm like gigging for money, but like, you know, it's still, you take a big chunk of your net worth and you buy something, and it loses a ton of value as soon as you buy it.
Right.
Because-
It was overpriced when he bought it, and then it lost even more value. Like, it really was a principle-based purchase.
Right.
You know, he thinks he's like defending free speech. It's a fascinating story. It'll be interesting to see what people say about it in 20 years.
Yeah, like, I'm curious to see what happens, right? Because like, there's some things that he had talked about real early on in where he wants to have like I don't know, Bitcoin is an actual term, but like electronic money. I'm not sure what is that called?
Blockchain.
Cryptocurrency.
Yeah, blockchain currency. Crypto.
Yeah. But like, he wants to have a cryptocurrency thing on it where it's like a marketplace, and there's news and there's media. And from what I had heard him talk about, I thought that was super cool. Like, I was like, whoa, that's some like next like millennia type, like, right? That was cool. I love that he reinstated a bunch of people. Like, there's people on my bookshelf that got like banned from it that are like really cool journalists, and they're not like right wingers or anything like that. They're straight up journalists. And like, so I think it's cool.
All right.
Honestly.
Cool. All right. Let's Bueller, let's hear your over under.
See, I think my overrated would be Five Nights at Freddy's, the movie. Was really looking forward to that. I don't play the games, but I know my son played them for a while, and I've heard a lot about them. And I was genuinely curious about it when it came out, and I watched it, and I was just completely let down. And I do not understand how it got greenlit for a sequel, but at the same time, I mean, so many movies get greenlit for sequels now. Whatever. I mean, I watched the Meg 2 today because I was bored. God, that was a fucking pile of shit. That's real.
Is Meg 2 free?
Yeah, it's free right now.
Huh.
Where?
It's, I think, on HBO Max or Prime, one of the two.
I'll watch it. I mean, it's probably shit, but I'll watch it.
Yeah, it's totally shit. Yeah, I mean, I think
But you know it's shit.
I think
I
Jake,
know
yeah,
you know it's
exactly.
shit.
Yeah, I think Jason Statham like free dives 1,000 feet below sea level or something. You know,
Ridiculous.
Stop it.
whatever. There is a scene where somebody's head explodes. That's pretty awesome, though.
Yeah.
I'll say that. I don't want to spoil too much, but yeah,
Jason Statham thinks he can really do that, though. Probably.
yeah. Well, he
Jason
was
Statham can really do that.
a professional diver. He was a professional like Olympic level diver. So I mean, maybe he can. No, he can't. He really can't do that. But whatever. So anyway, Five Nights at Freddy's. I watched it. I was like, this movie sucks. I've seen a better version of Five Nights at Freddy's called Willy's Wonderland, starring Nicolas Cage, who doesn't say one single word the entire fucking movie, and it's awesome. It's bad, but it's awesomely bad. And when I saw that, I was like, I got to see Five Nights at Freddy's, and I saw Five Nights at Freddy's, and I was like, Willy's Wonderland is 10 times better than this piece of shit. But it
Is
got
that the one where
greenlit.
Where? Is
Were you what?
that the one where he screams in his underwear?
No, wait.
No, that's that's Mandy. I think it's
Oh,
called
okay.
Mandy.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, this one he literally he doesn't have a single line in the entire movie. He wasn't even credited for the movie when it first came out because it's credited in lines of speaking, like in the order of speaking. And since he doesn't have any lines, he was never credited. But yeah, so Willy's Wonderland is 10 times the movie that Five Nights at Freddy's wanted to be. And I think the hype is just ridiculous behind the movie Five Nights at Freddy's, and I don't want to see a sequel. Matter of fact, I forgot. When I saw Five Nights at Freddy's, I literally wanted every single fucking character to die. I didn't have I wasn't rooting for anybody. I wanted everybody to fucking die the second they came on the screen. Not one of them has a redeeming quality. They're all pieces of shit. Like, I wish they would fucking die. I wish they would die. When they didn't die in the end, that pissed me off more than anything. I was like, fuck this guy. Fuck his little sister. She should have died. He should have died. All of them should have died. Every single one of them. But no.
Yeah, I hate that.
No. Fuck them. Fuck Five Nights at Freddy's. Anyway, underrated, and I don't know if this is truly underrated. I just didn't hear a lot after the movie came out. Was Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Amongst Thieves.
Okay.
I started playing D&D this year, so like rewatching it made even more sense the second time through because I understand a lot of the terminology I didn't understand before. But even so, before I started playing D&D, I actually went and saw it in theaters, and I walked out like, okay, I enjoyed that movie. It was cool. It was I didn't know what to expect walking in there.
No.
And I walked out like I really enjoyed it. Am I saying it was the best movie of the year? Absolutely not. I'm saying I thought it was underrated because once it came out, I didn't hear much about it at all afterward.
Yeah,
And
I agree. It was way better than I thought it was going to be. 100%.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. You know, it's like I think it did okay at the box office, but it wasn't like a huge runaway smash. But I think it had a lot of legs on streaming and everything. So there's talk of a sequel. I hope it goes through because I enjoyed it. Yeah. And then if you play D&D and you enter D&D, it has different levels of enjoyment that you can catch. And yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, it was. And yeah, and if you understand the universe, it works on multiple levels. Agreed, 100%. So okay, my picks for underrated, I'm going to go with a video game. It's Marvel Midnight Suns, which did not do well in sales, but I've been playing it, and man, what a great game. Like what just a super cool game. The way that it's put together, there's hundreds of hours potentially.
It's turn-based, right?
Yeah, it's a turn-based combat Marvel game. It's got, a whole bunch of heroes in it, like Scarlet Witch and Captain America, Iron Man. But it's a card battler at heart. So it's a turn-based combat game, which is something I guess that like it's not super popular. People probably see something like that, they expect it to be an action game like Tomb Raider or something. But the reviews on it are great, but it hasn't sold as many copies as I feel like it should have. In my overrated is Rebel Moon. Rebel Moon. In fact, here's the deal. Rebel Moon was such a shit movie that my overrated is actually Zack Snyder's entire fucking career. I think that as a nation, we need to come together and end this idea that Zack Snyder is good at making movies. This was a garbage movie.
Yeah.
It's the most derivative plot I have ever seen. I mean, here's the plot. Daughter of Thanos seeks Magnificent Seven to defeat Baron Harkonnen and save Santa Poco.
It's beautiful.
Right? That's the plot, right? It's the most, and the dialogue is it's beyond bad. I couldn't stop watching it. Like it was like a car wreck surgery after a while. Like you have to keep watching. One of the lines of dialogue is, "Oh, you must be the mysterious swordswoman who is only known as Nemesis." Well, like what? Who says that kind of shit? Anyway, this is a garbage movie. This is a garbage movie. And if the whole movie was in normal time, by the way, if it was all shot in normal time, it would have been like 28 minutes long. Because everything is in slow motion all the time, right? There's like a dog running out of the woods and it's in fucking slow motion. Here's what happened. Zack Snyder made 300. That's what started his career. He's been trying to make 300 over again with every movie that he's ever done.
He did Dawn of the Dead. I think that's what like kind of catapulted him a little
Dawn
bit.
Dawn of the Dead was okay, but I don't remember it. I remember 300. 300 was visually stunning.
It's like been struck from your mind.
No, it's no, here's the thing. Dawn of the Dead was good, but it's a zombie flick. It can only be so good, right? 300 was original. Like a lot of the visuals nobody had ever seen anything done like that before. A lot of it was Gerard Butler and his screen presence. If you had anybody else in that role, it would have been not as good. But for his entire career, Zack Snyder has been trying to make 300 again, and he has failed spectacularly each time. The only other movie,
Man of Steel was really good.
That's what I was going to say. The only other movie that he's made that was good was Man of Steel.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. If he didn't have Henry Cavill and I forget his name, the guy who played General Zod. Do you remember who played General Zod?
I can see his face, but I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
Man.
That guy did such a fantastic job. I'm sorry that I can't remember his name, but he was phenomenal. He was great. But if you had just a couple of whatever, like, second shelf actors in those roles, Man of Steel wouldn't have been that good. It was those two guys who really carried it, right?
Michael Shannon is his name, by the way.
Michael Shannon. Yeah. He was awesome, right?
He
was awesome.
He's great in everything.
Yeah, he's really, really good. But that's the only other movie that Zack Snyder has ever done that was any good. The rest of his movies are garbage. So my overrated is Zack Snyder's entire fucking career.
I got to agree with Alex though. Like thinking about Dawn of the Dead, that's the one that takes place in the shopping mall, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually enjoyed that one. It's probably one of my top 5 favorite zombie movies. The zombie baby.
No, it was good. It was good, and that's probably what got him the job for 300. It was good.
It was good, but it wasn't as good as Dead Alive. Dead Alive was the best zombie movie ever made.
I even like Watchmen. I thought Watchmen he did a good job with. But something happened in the last 10 years, and it's like any talent he did have has just evaporated. I actually watched Army of the Dead the other day, like recently. Man, that was terrible too. And it's just like, I don't know what happened to him, but any talent he had that was not just technical is just completely gone. And
yeah,
like you said, the dialogue in Rebel Moon, I could not wrap my head around how somebody could write this shit down and think it would, number one, work, or that anybody would be entertained by it at all, And I'm just like, wow, everything anybody said was just so heavy and trying so hard to be like dramatic and poignant, and it was just, oh my God.
It was so bad.
Garbage.
It was so
garbage.
bad. It was
like trying to make Star Wars, but you didn't understand the Star Wars took themes and like built on them, but it didn't it wasn't so bullseye precise of what it was trying to do. He has like a farm of Irish people, and if you didn't know they were Irish farmers, you have like this random kid in space wearing a newsboy hat, and it's just like, I can't. It was so terrible. All of it was terrible.
It was so bad.
girl boss. It has a girl boss in it, so you
It-
can, you know.
It had, yeah,
Oh,
it had a, it
I
had
thought it
girl
was going to
boss
be a
in
great
it.
movie from the second that the big like destroyer ship came out of its wormhole and the wormhole was a giant space vagina. I was like, oh, this is going to be a great movie.
Yeah, yeah. That's
I
whatever.
wrote that to you guys. I wrote that thing to you guys last night, and I got on the phone with Jubal because Jubal's like, I'm not seeing what you guys are writing. I said, I guess Gus wrote something, and then he deleted it because it wasn't. He said it didn't make sense what he wanted to say, and I said, I wrote what I thought was probably happening. I said I could tell from the trailer that she's grabbing people. She's like creating a ragtag group. Can I ask you who's in the group? Jubal goes, well, one of the people is, you know, like this general. He's like the greatest general to ever live or something. And the other guy is a you know,
A slave
guy
that used to be a prince,
right.
right?
And I
And
said,
then like the greatest swordswoman in the world.
right.
They have
And I
like
said, let's
space. They have
I said,
space
let's
Matthew McConaughey with no shirt.
Right.
Right.
Everywhere he
I said-
goes, it's like
I said, let's just take those. Let's just take those. The greatest general to ever live. Is there a scene where he like devises the plan that they all use to go and like fight the battle?
No.
Is there a scene, the greatest general to ever live, is there a scene where he uses this great military mind? No, of course not.
No.
The prince, is there a scene where like that comes in handy where they go somewhere and they're like, oh, Prince Johnson, it's so great to see you. Here, use this ship. You know, you've done this for us. Nope, no, he's not useful in the least. Oh, that's weird. You know, it's like you grab all these people who have some kind of skill, and then you don't write a scene for any of them to use the skill, except for the swordswoman. I'm sure showed off her swordswomanness initially.
Right.
Right,
She
that's how
fought
you-
she fought some like creature or whatever. But yeah, you don't get to have any of these other characters do anything because the girl boss, all that has to happen is the
Girl
girl boss does a cartwheel and shoots somebody, and then that's all that needs to
That's the
happen,
plan.
right?
That's
Stupid.
the plan. It's stupid.
It's stupid.
I will say this, even though you haven't seen it, Eric, and you're probably not going to, like you said, when they do go to the guy who is I guess he must be the prince. I don't know, the one who's chained up, and they get him to train a griffin.
yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. What about it?
So is that the prince or is that somebody else?
Yeah, that's the guy. He's the
That's
the slave who used to be a prince that can train any animal.
I missed the part where he was a prince, but okay, yeah, you can train any animal. Whatever. When he walked out to that griffin, like I feel like that entire movie would have been saved after, like, because there's this whole build up to him, right? They find him, they go in there, he's chained up. They make a deal to get him freed from his chains as long as he can pay his debt. Well, if he pays his debt by training the griffin, then he can go. But if he can't, then all of you are going to be chained up. And so it's kind of like it's supposed to be this real tense moment. And so all of their futures are on the shoulders of this guy going out to train this griffin. And he walks into the griffin, and I swear to God, if that griffin would have just fucking ate him right then and there, I would have died laughing, dude. It would have saved the movie for me. I would have been like, that's one of the best fucking things I've ever seen in a movie. I was hoping, I was like, please let this griffin just go and just eat the motherfucker. I would have laughed my ass off. But no, they didn't even do that.
No, what happened was instead of that, which would have been entertaining, he jumped in slow motion onto the back of the griffin as he was running off a cliff or some shit. What a horrible fucking movie. Why are we still talking about it? Holy shit.
It's absolute
This is how we have to end this episode, is on this note. Is such a terrible movie.
And it
Marvel-
was a warning.
Marvel Midnight Suns was a
No.
great game. It was a great
Waste your
game.
time.
That's all I have
Hey,
to
so
say.
Jubal, you said Dead Alive was the best zombie movie. Is that the one that's also called Brain Dead? Because I'm trying to look it up.
I don't know. Alex, is it also called Brain Dead? It was. I think it was an Australian.
I think it was called Brain Dead, like in New Zealand or something like that.
Right. Yeah, dude, it was
I'm
amazing.
trying to look it up, and so when I click on Dead Alive, it takes me to a movie called Brain Dead.
Yeah, that might be it. Give it a try.
Yeah, all right. I'll check it
Anyway,
out.
that's it. That's all we got for our New Year's episode. Anybody else want to add anything? Amazing? No? All right.
No, yeah, watch Letterkenny and Shorzy.
All right. That's it for
You
us.
know what? Okay, you know what? I don't think, I think we would be remiss to do a end of the year thing without talking like at least mentioning Barbie. Right? Biggest movie of the year.
Okay.
Didn't see it.
1.6 billion, excuse me, 1.6 billion. And I'll say this, I think the reason why it did so well, and a lesson that can be learned, is that it did not insult its fan base. It gave its fan base what it wanted.
Right.
And that's a lesson that other studios should learn. So good on Barbie, good on the people who made Barbie, good on the studio that made Barbie. I wish other studios would learn from that. Do not piss off your fan base.
Don't insult your viewers. Yeah.
Right.
Don't insult your viewers. But you know, that's what can happen when you take a beloved IP and you give the people what they want. Good for Barbie, good for that studio. Happy New Year.
Lesson learned, hopefully.
All right.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, no doubt. Happy New Year.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for joining us. This is Cult Fiction. We'll catch you on the flip
Happy New
side.
Year, everybody.
See you
Happy
later.
New
Happy